Good morning, everyone. Please comment your name for your attendance. So today we will discuss two chapters, classification of human acts and components of human acts. Okay, so ilan na nag-comment? Sino naman? Okay, very good. So is my voice audible? Okay, so comment if maklaro ba akong tingog. Okay, para maka-start na ta. Okay, so thank you for confirming. So we will start. So chapter 3 is entitled Classification of Human Acts. And then chapter 4 is entitled The Components of Human Acts. Okay, so let's start. Chapter 3 contents, learning outcomes, the quotation and its explanations. And then we have the classification of human acts. We have morally good acts, morally evil acts, and morally indifferent acts. We also have the activity number 3 there, and as well as the answers and the explanation. And then lastly, the references. So learning outcomes in the process and at the end of the discussion, learners must be able to first develop the ability to identify and distinguish morally good acts, morally evil acts, and morally indifferent acts. Number two, gain insight into behaviors that align with ethical ideals, contribute positively to well being, and foster a sense of morality. Third, apply the concept of morally good acts in practical scenarios, both individually and collectively, and understand how positive actions contribute to the well being of individuals as well as in the society. Then number four, comprehend the ethical implications of morally evil acts and their potential cause to cause harm, suffering, and injustice. Fifth, understand that the categorization of human acts is always clear and may vary based on ethical theories, cultural perspectives, and contextual factors. And lastly, number six, develop critical thinking skills in moral judgment, considering circumstances, intentions, and outcomes in evaluating behaviors. And nag-comment sa GC, Sir, dili ko kasulod. Roxanne, so siyang tabangan sa kadyan ha. Okay, so katong dili makasulod sa link, pwede ra mo sa diretso sa YouTube app and then search lang ni siya nga channel. Kana taploka lang na siya. Miss Roxanne, am I correct? Okay, so kana search na dito sa YouTube. Kita na ninyo. Okay, so let's continue. So first we have the code. Ethical behaviors like seeds of love and honesty grow into garden of compassion, integrity, and support when planted in the fertile soil of our community. So what does this quote mean? So the quote implies that morally decent deeds establishes the foundation for a healthy and caring environment. These ethical activities, like seeds that grow into blooming plants, contribute to the establishment of a culture defined by compassion, integrity, and mutual support. It highlights the transforming impact of individual choices on the community's collective well-being. So here proceeds the next topic, classification of human acts. So human acts are either in accordance or agreement with or contrary disagreement to the laws of reason. And this relationship, either in accordance with or against to reason, defines morality. So in ethical philosophy, there are three categories of human acts. First, we have the morally good acts. Second, morally evil acts. And the third one, morally indifferent acts. So based on moral evaluation of the behavior and its compliance with moral standards. Human acts are categorized as follows based on their morality or relationship to reason. So number one, we have morally good acts. These are acts that are morally right or noble. They are consistent with ethical ideals and contribute possibly positively to one's own or others' well-being. So kindness, honesty, generosity, compassion, and fairness are all examples of morally desirable performed acts. Acts of generosity, assisting those in need, stating the truth or telling the truth, and acts of selflessness are its examples. So, in simple words, it is morally good act when the act is in harmony with the dictates of right and correct reason. So, here we have an example: organizing a fundraising event to benefit a local orphanage and include a disabled person, for example, demonstrates acts of kindness, compassion, and generosity, advocating for honesty and truth in presenting finding during a collaborative assignment, demonstrate moral integrity. Furthermore, tutoring and guiding a struggling classmate is an example of selflessness. These morally beneficial activities promote a caring and ethical collegiate community, benefiting both individuals and society as a whole. Number two, morally evil acts. So these are activities that are morally repugnant or immoral. They are unethical and cause hurt, suffering, or injustice to themselves or others. Dishonesty, harshness, greed, and unfairness are common characteristics of morally bad performed acts. Acts of aggression, lying, stealing, and purposely inflicting harm to others are its examples. So, in simple words, it is considered a morally evil act when the act is in opposition with the dictates of right and correct reason. Cheating on examinations, for example, being hostile and harsh in group projects, spreading false stories, and stealing or harming others' property are all examples of morally evil behavior in a college atmosphere or settings. These activities are ethically unacceptable and unethical because they inflict harm, misery, or injustice to oneself or others. Dishonesty, harshness, greed, and unfairness are frequent traits of morally wrongdoing, and they undermine the values of honesty, compassion, and fairness that are necessary for establishing a healthy and supportive campus community. Third, morally indifferent acts. These are behaviors that do not have a direct moral or ethical significance. They are neither intrinsically good nor evil and may be influenced by human preference or individual decision. Morally indifferent activities are often value neutral, with no moral responsibilities or ethical repercussions. Everyday actions such as deciding what to wear, listening to music, or participating in recreational pastimes are its example. So in simple words, it is morally indifferent act when the acts stand in no positive relation to the dictates of reason. So in theory, morally indifferent acts exist, but in practice, they do not. Again, I will repeat. In theory, morally indifferent acts exist, but in practice, they do not. A neutral or morally indifferent act becomes good or evil depending on the conditions that determine its performance, particularly the aim in view, motive, purpose, or intention of the act's doer or agent. Human act categorization is not always clear and can be subjective depending on the context. What is deemed ethically good or bad varies depending on the ethical theory or cultural perspective. Furthermore, certain behaviors may fall into a moral gray area in which their moral judgment is contingent on certain circumstances, intentions, or outcomes. So, in conclusion, understanding the numerous classifications of human acts is critical for ethical analysis, moral decision making, and judging persons' moral character. It provides a framework for debating and evaluating activities based on their ethical implications and compliance with moral norms or standards of society. Understanding these contrasts enables us to handle knotty moral quandaries with greater clarity and cultural sensitivity. We can develop a more informed and compassionate society that accepts different points of view while adhering to basic ethical standards by engaging in ethical analysis. Okay, so that's chapter 3. So next page is our activity number 3, karon ay true or false. And then we have also there the answers. So true or false with explanations. So again, you study kay appeal ni siya sa ato ang quiz this coming Wednesday. Okay, so I think 30 items to 50 items. Same lang gihapon sa first quiz na to. So 50 items. Study daan. Ato lang sila ni bali-baliho ning activity number 3. The answer. Dili ata siya in sequence just like quiz number 1 na sequence kit siya. Wala ni siya rearrange. Nanibawan ginapa nga wala lang gigamit ang memory. Okay? So let's proceed to chapter 4. So chapter 4 is entitled Components of Human Acts. Again, we have there the learning outcomes, quotation and explanation. And then we have the components there, knowledge, freedom, and voluntariness. So let's move forward sa learning outcomes para sa aning na chapter. So in the process and at the end of the discussion, learners must be able to wait lang. Okay? So good afternoon. So akong name sa Google Search ID at answer kay what my phone search. Okay, just comment your name sa ato ang live stream. Your full name. Okay? Yes, comment lang dito sa chat section sa live stream. Okay, so let's continue. Again, we have 6 learning outcomes for this chapter. So first, we have develop the ability to assess and comprehend the significance of knowledge in decision-making processes. Number 2, cultivate an understanding of the role of freedom as foundation for personal liberty and self-determination. Third, recognize the importance of voluntariness in fostering internal motivation and a sense of purpose in actions. Fourth, apply the concepts of knowledge, freedom, and voluntariness to make informed and responsible decisions in academic and real-life situations. Fifth, acknowledge the interconnectedness interconnectedness of knowledge, freedom, and voluntariness in shaping individual agency and personal development. And then lastly, we have here appreciate the ethical implications of the components of human acts and their role in contributing to a just and respectful society. Okay, dili pa good afternoon. Mr. Commander, good morning pa. Wala ka pa afternoon. Okay, so let's continue. So chapter 4, ang quote is understanding the interplay of human acts enables us to become aware designers of our own fate, nurturing compassion and principled living in the immense tapestry of life. So what does this quote means? Okay, so understanding how different human activities interact allows us to consciously shape our futures. Understanding this dynamic allows us to build values such as compassion and principled living, thereby contributing to the vast and complicated fabric of existence. It essentially highlights the importance of awareness and deliberate decisions in creating a meaningful and ethical existence. So let's move to the next topic, components of human acts. So, a human act must have three characteristics or component. It must be knowing, free, and voluntary. As a result, we list knowledge, freedom, and voluntariness as essential components of the human act. So first, we have the knowledge. So having knowledge before taking any action is crucial because it helps us consider the potential consequences and make informed choices. Knowledge empowers us to evaluate the risks and benefits of our decisions, allowing us to make more thoughtful and responsible choices. So, without knowledge, we may act impulsively, overlooking the long term impact of our actions. In an academic context, for example, having knowledge about the subject before writing an essay or taking a test allows us to present well informed arguments and answers. Similarly, in real life situations, being informed about various options can help us avoid making regrettable decisions and lead to better outcomes. So, una siya, ang knowledge. Second, we have freedom. So, freedom is the foundation of personal liberty and self-determination. It enables us to mold our lives in accordance with our beliefs, interests, and goals. When we have the freedom to make decisions, we accept responsibility for our actions, which can result in a feeling of empowerment and personal advancement. It's vital to understand that freedom comes with responsibility again. It is vital to understand that freedom comes with responsibility. So while we have the freedom to make our own decisions, we must also consider the consequences of our actions on others and society as a whole. This notion is frequently summed up with the saying, with great freedom comes great responsibility. Okay, so number three, voluntariness. So voluntariness highlights the necessity of behaving in accordance with our preferences and will. We are more likely to be internally driven, engaged, and invested in what we do when we engage in voluntary actions. This internal motivation has the potential to lead to a more fulfilling and authentic life. Voluntary actions are more likely to be in the line with our beliefs and personal goals, contributing to a stronger sense of purpose and fulfillment. Being coerced or forced into actions, on the other side, can lead to resentment, stress, and a sense of powerlessness. Again, if you are being forced to do something, can lead to resentment, stress, and a sense of powerlessness. So, understanding these three essential components of uh, human acts, the knowledge, freedom, and voluntariness, can assist us in leading more meaningful and responsible lives. We become active agents in molding our destiny when we have the information to make educated decisions, the freedom to act according to our values, and the willingness to pursue our goals. It also emphasizes the notion that each individual has the ability to make decisions and accept responsibility and accountability for their actions. Additionally, recognizing the significance of these essential components of the human act could motivate us to respect the independence and authority of others. It prompts us to consider the factors that might be affecting their choices, as well as the necessity of fostering an environment in which people can act knowingly, freely, and voluntarily. By doing this, we encourage a more just and courteous society where people can prosper and positively impact the communities in which they are living. Okay, so that's for chapter 4. And that's it for week number 3. Again, they have true or false, and then answers niya with explanations. Also included sa ato quiz. So, pila na items sila? 100 items. 50 sa chapter 3, 50 po sa chapter 4. Kaya, dili. So, i-combine na yung doha. Okay, so, I think sa chapter 3, multiple choice. Chapter 4, true or false. And then, simple explanation. Dito nakukuha sa chapter 4, the components of human acts. Okay, so I will see you Wednesday, 11 a.m. Class Mayor. If kuan kadaan sa ato ang classroom, then paki-arrange dyan sa chairs karong Wednesday para dito na ta maka quiz. Quiz number 2. Okay? And then discussion gamay din after sa quiz for clarification sa chapter 3 and chapter 4 if nasabtan mo kayo. Okay? So again, chapter 3, we have the classifications of human acts, morally good acts, morally evil acts, and morally indifferent acts. We will discuss that after our quiz this coming Wednesday. And then chapter 4, components of human acts. We have the knowledge, freedom, and voluntariness. So that is all for our online class for today. Thank you for participating. I will see you this coming Wednesday. Okay? So, pwede na makalag out sa ato ang live stream. God bless. Ang quiz din nato sa Wednesday is chapter 2. Okay? Kasi malimot ko chapter 3, chapter 4 ako buhat chapter 2 nga quiz. Okay? So to make sure ako alang siya post. Okay? Thank you tanan. Okay, nakag-message si GC. So chapter 2 ang quiz. Wednesday, oral recitation, explanation sa chapter 3 and chapter 4. So I hope study mo para sa ato ang quiz and oral explanation. Okay?
Pag wa mo gipang